This guy is firmly in our corner. While he was grinding through push-ups, his buddy, who's basically a walking skeleton, dragged him off to go unlock his hidden potential. Just before he could manifest some legendary SSS rank ability, a god-tier monster from another dimension suddenly crashed the party. Right as he was gearing up to fight the beast, our hero pulled a total 180 and went back to his push-ups like a man possessed. Who could have guessed that hitting his 10 millionth repetition would grant him the world-shattering strength of Saitama? With a single effortless blow, he vaporized the divine entity and essentially broke the game. Without further delay, let's dive straight into the story. A particular young fellow was holed up in his room, meticulously tracking every single rep. 9,994, 9,995, and key. 9,996! The boy groaned, his muscles screaming. He was fixated on a mysterious reward promised to him. Stupid system. It was hard enough surviving this reincarnation, and the first thing you demand is 1,000,000 push-ups? You're trying to bury me. Just then, a classmate named Tu Tram came knocking. The talent awakening ceremony has already kicked off. This was Trio Tu Long, the protagonist's ride-or-die best friend. He rushed in to report, "We're up soon, we need to move, fast!" Our hero grunted, "Hold on, let me just finish these last few, 1,000,000. Tu Long practically dragged him out. "Bro, move it! This ceremony is the literal turning point of our lives." Trio Tu Long continued to vent. "Man, you can't be serious. You're really prioritizing a workout over your entire future? So far, it looks like nobody has landed a top-tier combat profession yet, like a high-level mage or a knight. If elite classes were easy to get, everyone would be a legend. They're 1 in a million rarities. Still, some decent ones like Berserker and Assassin have popped up. I'm vibrating with nerves. As long as I don't end up with a mundane lifestyle job, I'll even settle for a support role." I actually came to catch a glimpse of Sister Mo Dung. Word is, Mo Dung Lu Lim is attending. She's the undisputed prodigy of our martial arts academy. Her reputation is sky high. I'd die happy if I could just get her autograph. Trio Tu Long reassured to Tram, "Luckily, we haven't missed our window. Our names are coming up next." I'm to Tram. A week ago, during a cataclysmic earthquake on Earth, I was mysteriously whisked away to this reality where everyone is awakened. Here, the Big 1-8 marks the moment you enter the ceremony to unlock one of thousands of potential vocations. They're split into combat, support, lifestyle, and other tiers. Suddenly, the digital scoreboard flashed. Trio Lo, awakened profession, mage. A girl named Trio Lo was instantly swamped by the jealous stares of her peers. "No way, a mage, an actual mage! That's Trio Lo from Class 2, she hit the jackpot!" Trio Lo had always been plain, a total wallflower. But in a heartbeat, she had been elevated to the status of a goddess. Tu Long nudged his friend. "If I recall, isn't this Trio Lo the girl you were just desperately chasing?" Tu Tram cleared his throat awkwardly. "I suppose so," digging through his memories. The original occupant of this body had spent 2 years simping for her. He'd only recently bought her affection by spending a fortune on a high-grade suit of armor, which finally convinced her to be his girlfriend. Now, she was a prestigious mage. Trio Lo was immediately surrounded by guys shamelessly sucking up to her. "Goddess Trio Lo, rub some of that luck off on me." "Hey, Lo, dinner tonight? I've got a VIP table at the Tynyak Tower." "Goddess, let's swap numbers so we can raid together." Always naturally stuck up, Trio Lo felt like she was walking on clouds. "From this moment on, I'm a phoenix soaring above the peasants." The current Tu Tram felt zero attachment to her, but out of respect for the previous owner's feelings, he offered a polite, "Trio Lo, congrats." But she didn't even spare him a glance, stating coldly, "Trung Loi, good timing, we're done. Let's break up." Our hero corrected her with a wince. "The name is Tu Tram." Trio Lo huffed and pulled out a small diary. "Tu Tram, was it? Hold on, let me find you on the list." The girl literally kept a logbook of her admirers. As the previous Tu Tram's memories confirmed, she was incredibly vain and embarrassingly shallow. She treated people like disposable tissues. She hit him with a U-2 and proceeded to dump an entire group of guys in a single cold sweep. It was such a blatant display of arrogance that it left everyone stunned. Tram whispered, "Me too? Damn, is she doing corporate layoffs for her dating life?" Triolo sneered. "Layoffs? I can replace simps like you by snapping my fingers. At the end of the day, you're still a nobody." Just then, a wealthy young heir stepped forward. "Lo, my test is done. I'm officially a spearman," Lai Lang Tu announced. "While I can't touch your elite mage status, I still landed a solid combat class. Let's party tonight. You listening, Triolo?" She immediately turned into a blushing schoolgirl for Lang Tu. "Oh, brother Lang Tu, I've been craving that exclusive seafood banquet." He smiled dotingly. "Anything for you, Lo. Today, if you asked for the moon, I'd find a way to pull it down." Lai Lang Tu then turned to Tram with a venomous smirk and said, "Hey kid, I'm looking for a lackey to carry my gear and fetch my water. Want a job serving us?" Triu Tu Long couldn't stand seeing his best friend disrespected. "Back off. Tram hasn't even stepped up to the stone yet. You're going to be eating those words when he reveals his talent." Li Lang Tiu just laughed, full of himself. "Keep dreaming." Everyone at this academy knows the odds of hitting a combat class are less than 20%. Most successes are people like me, nobles raised on expensive spirit elixirs, but peasants like you lot. Aside from a freak accident like Triolo, the rest of you are destined for trash-tier jobs. Right on cue, the next name echoed through the hall. "Tram." Our hero looked Lai Lang Tu dead in the eye and said, "Finally my turn. Lai Lang Tu, remember this moment. You'll be begging to call me daddy soon." Lang Tu bristled. "You've got a death wish, kid." In any other situation, such confidence might seem misplaced. But Tram is the star of this show. Even if his power looks like a joke at first, it's going to be worth more than every prestigious class combined. His ego was easily a match for Triolo's. He was convinced that as a transmigrator, he was destined for a god-tier class that would silence the haters. "Ding! Commencing scan." Tram took a deep breath and shouted, "Let's see it! Prepare to bow down to your new king!" And then the silence was deafening. The monitor flickered to life. "Failed to manifest a profession," leaving Tram frozen. "Wait, what? Is this a glitch?" Lai Lang Tu doubled over in laughter. "Oh, this is gold. You're a total dud." What absolute garbage. He couldn't even manage to trigger a single basic profession. Calling him a total dud isn't technically accurate, as the protagonist's situation is completely unheard of. The crowd was buzzing with rumors. I've never seen someone fail to awaken entirely. Even the most pathetic person usually gets some low-tier job. How is nothing even possible? Is this guy officially the world's biggest loser? No one wants to be the bottom of the barrel. Tram's ego instantly deflated into desperation. This can't be happening. Give me a combat class at the very least. Have some respect for a transmigrator. Lai Lang Tu sneered with some biting advice. "Kid, beat it. Stop making a fool of yourself in front of the whole school." However, one should never be too quick to judge. There is always a method behind the madness. Suddenly, an eerie shroud of black clouds swallowed the sun. What's going on? Could this be a legendary phenomenon triggered by an elite awakening? Tram felt his smugness returning. I knew my story wouldn't end here. With an omen this massive, I'm destined for a god-tier class. Lai Lang Tu gritted his teeth in disbelief. This is impossible! How could a commoner like him trigger a cosmic anomaly and awaken something powerful? The opportunistic Triolo began her mental gymnastics. I just dumped him. Should I take him back? If Tram were actually that petty, he was currently acting no better than Lang Tu. Even without a confirmed result, he threw out a preemptive taunt. Lai Lang Tu, you might as well start calling me daddy right now. But calling this a blessing from an awakening was far from the truth. Everyone present felt a chill down their spines. And indeed, it wasn't a divine sign at all. The massive, scaly limb of a gargantuan beast crashed down from the sky, sending the students into a frantic, screaming retreat. Several youths who weren't fast enough were flattened or tossed aside by the sheer mass of the creature. It's a monster. That's a high-level demonic aura. This wasn't a gift of power, it was a full-scale monster raid. Tram didn't expect his moment of glory to backfire so spectacularly. The emergency sirens wailed through the academy. Level 1 threat alert! Demon dragon breach! All personnel evacuate to the shelters immediately! Having a dragon literally drop on your head on your big day? Is this just the standard hazing for people who transmigrate? Those with combat capabilities drew their weapons, stepping forward with the intent to slay the beast. Watching the demon dragon tilt its head back to inhale destructive energy, two defenders cried, "Look out!" before being blasted back by the dragon's breath. The impact was devastating, stripping them of their ability to fight. Panic-stricken voices called out, "Where is Mo Dung? Why isn't she here yet?" This demon dragon is at least a B-rank threat. D-rank fighters stand no chance. Only Mo Dung has the power to hold it off. Trio Tu Long ran for his life, but he didn't abandon his friend. Trio Tu Long screamed, "Tram, move your ass, run!" Li Lang Tu, lacking a single shred of empathy, muttered, "Just a clown looking for attention. It doesn't matter if he dies, he brought it on himself. Our hero should have listened and fled while he had the chance. But he was positioned directly under the demon dragon's shadow, right beneath its jaws. He thought to himself, do I even have a path to escape? Just as the demon dragon unhinged its maw to swallow the human whole, the protagonist held up a hand and barked, "Hold on a second." Miraculously, the dragon actually paused to look at Tram. Whatever the reason for the pause, the protagonist knew he had to prove his worth, and the system was his only remaining chip. 9,997, 9,998. There was no alternative. Only by finishing the system's grueling task would he have a prayer of surviving. The onlookers stared at his bizarre behavior with total confusion. Look, what on earth is Tram doing? Strangely, no one stopped to wonder why the demon dragon was being so incredibly patient. All eyes were on the boy, almost forgetting the looming threat. Is he seriously doing push-ups right now? Is this a performance for the dragon? Li Lang Tu was clearly destined to be a bitter extra. He mocked, "The idiot is so terrified he's lost his mind." 9,999, 10,000. The system chimed. Congratulations, 10,000 push-ups completed. Reward, +1 physique. New skill acquired, charged 1 punch. The protagonist desperately wanted to know if this charged 1 punch was actually legit. The system explained, the destructive power of charged 1 punch scales with your charge time and your current rage level. To help you experience its true potential, you are granted 1 free instant charge for 15 seconds. Without knowing about the system, it simply looked like he was wasting his final moments. The demon dragon's patience evaporated into rage. Just then, the legendary Mo Dung arrived on the scene, realizing the situation was catastrophic. The protagonist roared, "Back off, you overgrown lizard! You're not hurting anyone else today!" He had to take the shot, no matter the risk. "It's all or nothing! Charged 1 punch!" Simultaneously, Mo Dung launched her own elite attack. Her strike only managed to leave a shallow scratch on the demon dragon's hide. But the dragon was now hyper-focused on the boy and completely ignored her. The system-boosted punch connected with the force of a supernova. The demon dragon was obliterated, the ultimate price for underestimating our hero. The victory allowed him to finally fully integrate the system's power-up. The students watched with wide eyes and shouted, The demon dragon is down! It's dead! Look, it's Mo Dung Lu Liam. She actually did it, as expected of the best. The celestial beauty slew the dragon with a single hit. Goddess! Goddess! Only Mo Dung knew the truth. That kill wasn't hers. There was something terrifying about that strike. Tram was lost in his own thoughts. He marveled in a daze. Incredible! This charged 1 punch is a total game changer. System, I'm your biggest fan. Keep the challenges coming. Seeing Mo Dong, Lai Lang Tiu immediately began sucking up. You're truly the legend they say you are. Taking down a B-rank beast with one move is god tier. Seeing how the world worshipped Mo Dong, even the arrogant Trio Lo felt completely insignificant in her shadow. Refusing to settle for second best, the girl declared, I, Trio Lo, will eventually overtake Mo Dong Lu Liam. Lu Lim simply remained silent, feeling unworthy of the credit for the dragon's death. She was acutely aware of her own capabilities. Her singular sword strike shouldn't have been powerful enough to vaporize a B-rank demon dragon. Could he be the one? Mo Dong Lu Liam had a logical reason to suspect Tram. Since they both struck simultaneously, and she knew it wasn't her power, the protagonist was the only remaining variable. Once the chaos subsided, a middle-aged man rushed toward them. Miss Mo Dong, I am the new principal, Anhui Tree, on behalf of the No. 2 Middle Martial Arts Academy. I want to express our deepest gratitude for your intervention today, saving the Academy from total destruction. The crowd waited with bated breath. It's a rare honor to have Miss Mo Dong back on campus. Please say a few words to the students. And Huai Tri then shoved To Tram aside, barking, Why are you still loitering here? Move it, kid! You're blocking the lady's view! Mo Dong Lu Lim suddenly interjected, Wait! An absurd requirement was suddenly thrust upon our hero. System objective. Please achieve the feat of shouting, I love you, big sister, 100 times to Mo Dong Lu Lim. The protagonist was caught in a major dilemma. System. Are you pulling my leg? Lu Liam asked gently. Your name is To Tram, right? Which class are you in, classmate? The protagonist wavered for a split second. Ultimately, he chose his future power over his current dignity. Pride is a small price for greatness. I love you, big sister. Mo Dong Lu Lim stood frozen. In her eyes, only a complete lunatic would behave like To Tram was currently behaving. And Huai Tree bellowed, To Tram, have you lost your mind? What do you think you're saying? Lu Liam maintained her composure enough to respond. Classmate, I need to know. Was that final devastating blow to the demon dragon actually your work? Not in a million years would the protagonist confess the existence of his system. Instead, he focused entirely on grinding out the quest. I love you, big sister, I love you, big sister, I love you, big sister. And Huai Tree reached his limit. He's possessed! The boy has cracked! Somebody haul him out of here! Meanwhile, the protagonist ignored the commotion to finish the 100 repetitions demanded by the system. He acted as if his internal wiring had short-circuited. For a while, anytime his eyes met Lu Liam's, his mouth reflexively fired off those 5 words. I love you, big sister. Lu Lim eventually gave up on getting an answer and watched in silence as To Tram was dragged away by 2 campus guards. This bizarre display only made Lai Lang Tu despise him more. To Tram, you're a bottom feeder with no self-awareness. How dare a worm like you reach for the stars? Mo Dong Lu Liam is a future legend. A shrimp like you will never breathe the same air. The greedy Trio Lo, acting as if she and Lai Lang Tu were already a power couple, began pestering him. I'm still short on the spell books a mage needs for progression. Can you hook me up with a few volumes? Li Lang Tu gave her a reality check. Lolo, a bit eager, aren't we? I don't recall us making things official yet. Trio Lo clearly wasn't interested in romance, only in personal gain. Stop stalling. How many books can you get? Li Lang Tu admitted, As far as I know, my family holds 5 rare volumes, but handing them over requires my father's stamp of approval. Hearing this, Trio Lo dropped all pretenses. Fine, starting now. You're my boyfriend. Consider this your official girlfriend certificate. He stared down at the scrap of paper Trio Lo had scribbled on and handed over. Li Lang Tu stood there, blinkered and utterly baffled by the transaction. The 2 guards tossed the protagonist outside and gave him an annoying lecture on hierarchy. To Tram, you really need to learn your place. A loser who failed to even wake up a basic class thinking he's a match for Sister Mo Dong. Just forget about him. He'll likely be the first casualty when the awakening trials actually begin. How could they understand? Anyone blessed with a cheat system like Tram's would act exactly the same. Chanting "I love you" 100 times was actually easier than push-ups. As long as his vocal cords held up, the reward was his. Just then, a group of thugs intercepted him to pick a fight. 3 guys who looked like trouble from a mile away. Tram stood up, dusted off his pants, and asked coolly, "Hey, old man, you need something?" One of the scruffy, bearded youths who looked decades older than he was angrily seized the protagonist by the shirt and roared, "I'm only 18. Who are you calling old man, you little punk?" His cronies chimed in, "Boss Liloy, he's mocking you. If he doesn't cough up 1,000 UN in protection money right now, let's break his legs." Tram's memories finally clicked. Right, I remember this guy. This 18-year-old with the face of a 40-year-old was Liloy, the Academy's notorious bully who had frequently extorted the previous owner of this body. To put it plainly, the original Tram's life was a tragedy. Orphaned young, he lived with neglectful relatives. Aside from an uncle who showed him quiet kindness, he was worthless to everyone else, making him the perfect target for bullies. Liloy barked, "Money now! Unless you want to see what your own feet look like from inside your stomach." Emboldened by the system's charged one punch from earlier, the protagonist's confidence overrode his common sense. He thought, since I'm now the great transmigrator Tram, why should I take the same abuse the original owner did? "I'm going to settle every single one of his debts." Liloy and his gang were left speechless. Tram actually had the guts to swing at the school's most feared bully. The punch made Liloy stagger back, but the lack of an explosion brought Tram back to reality. Shoot, is this skill weak because I didn't let it charge up? Liloy's expression turned murderous. "You've got nerve, kid. A weakling like you actually thinks he can lay a finger on me? This moron doesn't realize Boss Li awakened the tank warrior class. That punch felt like a mosquito bite. The kid is a natural-born dud with no awakened class. Even if the boss stood perfectly still, he couldn't leave a bruise. If you don't produce 10,000 UN by tonight, I'll beat you into the pavement." Recognizing he was outmatched, the protagonist pivoted. "Please, give me some time. I'll find the money." Liloy gave a cruel grin. "You have half a day." "I'll be at your dorm before dinner. Don't be late." The moment Liloy let go, the protagonist's mind snapped back to his quests. It was the only shortcut to obtaining the power he needed to flip the script. "Half a day is plenty. I need to finish that mission right now." After all, Mo Dung Lu Lim wouldn't be staying at this school forever. Anhuaitri was giving Lu Lim a tour of the grounds. "Miss Mo Dung, ever since you entered Thienfu Academy, the kingdom's premier institution, you've been the pride of our school." Suddenly, the protagonist leaped into their path with his new mantra, "I love you, big sister." Principal Anhuaitri was visibly frustrated. "Why is this brat back already?" He signaled his staff to haul the boy off toward the executive conference room. Anhuaitri tried to squeeze some insider tips out of Mo Dung Lu Lim. "With only a month left before the high-stakes martial arts exam, I was hoping you could share some strategic advice with the students." Mo Dung Lu Lim looked at him as if he were speaking a foreign language. "Experience? If I have any wisdom to give, it's that success rests entirely on the raw, overwhelming talent of a high-tier profession." Her bluntness left the school faculty in awkward silence. Meanwhile, our protagonist was still tirelessly chanting his scripted declarations of love. Of course, it was anything but a romantic confession. Anhuaitri snapped, "Tram, haven't you caused enough of a scene?" Young Tram, however, acted as if his vocal cords were powered by a perpetual motion machine. Anhuaitri turned back to their guest with an apologetic bow. "Miss Mo Dung, please ignore him. Tram is likely just spiraling because he failed to awaken a single class. The poor boy must be in a state of mental shock." Hearing this, Lu Lim grew skeptical. "He's a dud. If he has no class, how could he possibly be responsible for that strike that leveled the demon dragon?" She watched as Tram continued his loud disturbance. Anhuaitri was about to order a guard to physically gag the boy, but Lu Lim stood up. "No need for that. I'll handle him myself. With a flick of her wrist, Lu Liam summoned her shimmering flying sword and soared out of the room. The protagonist's only goal was to keep her in one place long enough to finish the count. He was desperate to wrap up his mission, so her sudden flight made him panic. "Hey, big sister, where are you going?" Without warning, Lu Liam swooped down and snatched him by the collar. She yanked him into the sky, proving she was far from a delicate flower. The faculty members could only watch from the balcony, necks craned toward the clouds. They climbed higher and higher until the school looked like a toy set. Miss Mo Dung wouldn't actually drop him from that altitude, would she? It was then the truth hit home. The principal's earlier attempts to shoo Tram away were actually for the boy's safety. We forgot her reputation. Back at Thienfu Academy, she's known as the Great Demon Queen, a nightmare to even the most gifted disciples. Tram was surely doomed. The protagonist shrieked, "This is way too high for a conversation." "What is your problem?" Lu Liam replied with an icy stare. "Don't you claim to love me? Well, let's see it." If it weren't for the system mission, Tram would have wanted to be anywhere else on the planet. Lu Liam was toyed with him simply because she enjoyed the power trip. "If you can scream 'I love you' 50 more times before you hit the pavement, I'll consider you sincere." Tram gasped, "This isn't funny anymore." He gripped his own arms in terror. "We need to land, now!" Lu Liam gave him a predatory smile. "I'm not playing games, little one. If the count doesn't hit 50, you're on your own." Tram didn't think she'd actually follow through with such a lethal threat. But then she opened her hand, and he plunged into a terrifying freefall. His first instinct was to scream at the top of his lungs, "You're insane! You're a literal psychopath!" Realizing gravity was winning, he started hollering, "I love you, big sister," at a record-breaking speed to avoid becoming a human pancake. High above, witness to the descent. The teachers in the meeting room were paralyzed with horror. "A fall from that height is certain death. Miss Mo Dung is absolutely ruthless." In a frantic, adrenaline-fueled bid for survival, the protagonist managed to choke out the 50th "I love you" just as the ground rushed up to meet him. His final shout was a desperate plea for mercy. True to her word, Lu Liam didn't let him splat. She dived and caught him inches from the floor. "Lucky you. I'll take your word for it." Tram wheezed, "Are you actually a demon in disguise?" Lu Liam offered a casual shrug. "Funny enough, I get that a lot." She unceremoniously dumped him back in the conference hall. Lu Liam turned to Principal Ann. "I have to get going. A B-rank demon dragon breach is a major security failure. I need to file a full report with my mentor." And Hwai tried to stall her. "Miss Mo Dung, please, one more moment." He began pleading about the Academy's dire situation. "Our school's last moment of true glory was when you were our top graduate. Since then, our talent pool has dried up, and our rankings are in the gutter. Academy number 1 is light years ahead, and even number 3 is making us look bad. Please, give us a fighting chance." Lu Liam sighed. She reached into her uniform and pulled out a sleek, obsidian-colored invitation card, handing it to the principal. "This is a special recommendation pass for Thienfu Academy. It's for whoever takes first place in your freshman trials. I'll personally ensure that student receives a universal skill manual." The faculty members nearly fainted with joy. A universal skill? One that isn't locked to a specific class? That's legendary. Normally, Awakening only grants you restricted abilities. High-tier skills like that are usually guarded secrets of elite colleges. "Miss Mo Dung, you're too kind." Principal Ann clutched the card as if it were made of gold. "With this, our academy will finally make a comeback during the national exams." Tram, meanwhile, was doing his best to hide from Lu Liam's gaze. "That girl is terrifying, dropping me from a kilometer up. Thank God I have a fast mouth and finished that 50-shout quota. But I'm still stuck at 97 total. I'm 3 short of the 100-mark reward, and now she's gone." Meanwhile, Lai Loi's crew was lurking in the shadows. "Boss, the target just walked back into the dorms." Leloy signaled his goons to make their move. They kicked Tram's door off its hinges and stomped in with ugly grins. "Where's the cash? Did you manage to scrape together my 10,000 yuan, or do I start breaking bones?" Before he could finish, a fist connected with Lai Loi's face with a force that sent the door frame splintering. The two lackeys stood frozen. How is this possible? He has no class. How does a dud have that kind of explosive power? Tram thought to himself, calibration complete. A charged one-punch fueled by 5 hours of pure concentrated spite is more than enough to wreck a rookie tank. Lai Loi proved he was nothing but a typical bully who folded when challenged. Seeing his own blood, he immediately started whimpering. "Wait, big brother, I was wrong. Spare me. Please, big brother." Tram wasn't interested in being a hero, but he was done with the harassment. "Your name is Lai Loi, right?" The bully nodded frantically. Yes. Please don't hit me again." "Do you know Han?" Lai Loi blinked, completely lost by the sudden shift in the conversation. He reflexively stammered, I don't know any Han. Who's that?" Whether the protagonist was settling an old score or just being a menace, he delivered a sharp slap to Lai Loi's face and barked, "If you don't know him, then why do you have a name that sounds so much like his?" Li Loi whimpered in self-defense. "Don't blame me, man. My grandmother picked that name out for me." The protagonist sneered, "Then go find her. Once you track down Han Mai Mai, I might consider letting you off the hook." Lai Loi nodded frantically. "Understood, big brother. I'll find Han Mai Mai even if I have to search the whole world." The following morning, the principal stood at the podium and declared, "Listen up, students. Yesterday you unlocked your unique professions. Today, the very first trial of your lives begins. The data from this assessment will directly impact your standing in the final exams next month. I expect every one of you to push your limits and strive to reach at least a 1-star rank in your field. This trial is a joint operation between Academies number 1, number 2, and number 3. Be professional. Avoid unnecessary brawls with rival students that might jeopardize your progress. I've said enough. Organize yourselves into squads of 3 to 5 and head out to the designated zone immediately." The students began frantically recruiting and whispering, "I've got to hit 1-star squire rank. My dream is to get into the number 1 military high academy." The student who finishes at the top of the leaderboard this time gets that legendary universal skill from Sister Mo Dung. That's the ultimate prize. I'm aiming for 2-star warrior. Top the leaderboard and hit 2-star on your first try. Keep dreaming, buddy. That's almost impossible. Tram was treated like a ghost. Realizing he was being completely ignored, he felt a wave of irritation. "Look at these jerks. Not a single soul wants to squad up with me, huh?" Fortunately, he had one loyal friend left. Spotting his buddy, the protagonist asked, like a man looking for a fellow outcast, "Tulong, did everyone give you the cold shoulder too?" Tron Tulong answered with surprising bluntness, "It's not exactly that I'm having trouble finding a team." The principal, noticing the protagonist standing solo, called out, "Tram, what's the holdup? Find a squad and get moving." Lilang Tiu couldn't resist the urge to twist the knife. "Principal Anne, it's not that he's slow, it's that nobody wants him. Who in their right mind would team up with a no-class dud? He's not just useless, he's a walking death sentence for his teammates." A chorus of classmates chimed in behind him. "Exactly. Tram, stay far away from my group. I'm not carrying dead weight. With you around, we wouldn't even survive the first floor. If you've got no power, why are you even here? Just drop out and save us the trouble." Just as the insults peaked, the roar of a helicopter drowned out the chatter. A sleek young man leaped from the hovering chopper with practiced ease. This wasn't a familiar face from High Academy number 2. He landed squarely on the faculty stage and checked his watch with the principal. "I hope I didn't miss the opening bell." Principal On welcomed the newcomer with a nod. Perfect timing, actually. He addressed the student body. "Quiet down, everyone. This is a transfer prodigy from Academy number 1. He's joining our ranks today and will participate in the assessment with you. Go ahead, son, introduce yourself." The youth exuded a relaxed, cool energy. "Hey there. I'm from Academy number 1. I'm not going to say I'm the most gifted guy back home. I'm not the best looking, the most elite, or even the funniest guy in the halls. To the students of Academy number 2, I might not be stronger than you. I might not win this thing. I'm not even sure I'll earn Sister Mo Dung's special reward. This humble routine worked like a charm on the girls. Wow, look at that guy from Academy Number 1. He's so gorgeous and so modest. It's actually adorable. Maybe those guys from the top school aren't such snobs after all. The boys also felt a sense of camaraderie, thinking he wasn't there to show them up. They shouted, "Man, you're making us look bad! You're way too humble, bro! Have some pride! Thanks for being so down to earth!" But then, the youth's tone shifted instantly. "Anyway, my name is Nui Tat Hoi. I'm here for Mo Dung Lu Lim, and I'm definitely taking that first-place trophy home." The entire crowd felt their jaws drop at the sudden arrogance. The guys were the first to turn on him. Unreal. So the humble act was just a facade? You little punk, you actually had me going for a second. Principal Ann cleared his throat to break the tension. He turned to Nui Tat Hoi and said, "You and To Tram will be on the same squad." To Tram hasn't awakened to class yet. Having you as a lead will keep him safe. At least he'll make it back in one piece. The students quickly pivoted back to the mission. I heard a fresh spatial rift was detected during the scouting phase. A brand new one-star zone has opened up, which is perfect for us beginners. "Move it! All 3 schools are hitting this rift at once. If we're slow, there won't be any monsters left to hunt." You're overconfident. Even in a one-star dungeon, those monsters can tear you apart if you stop paying attention. 30 minutes later, the protagonist and his friend stepped through the rift. Trio Tu Long looked around. Where is everyone? I don't see Nui Tat Hoi either. Wasn't he supposed to be our heavy hitter? The protagonist was distracted by a different curiosity. He asked his friend, "Tu Long, what class did you actually get? And why were you so hesitant to join a team?" The protagonist sensed that his friend's loyalty might be masking a strange secret. Trio Tu Long sighed. "I'm a warrior." The protagonist beamed. "A warrior? That's fantastic. That's the backbone of any combat squad." But Tu Long's face darkened as he explained the catch. "I'm a magical girl archetype warrior." The protagonist blinked in disbelief. "Transform, right now. I have to see this." With a burst of sparkling light, Trio Tu Long morphed into a frilly sailor-themed champion of justice and love. Watching the spectacle, the protagonist shouted, "Tu Long! I have a brilliant idea!" But suddenly, Tu Long turned on Tu Tram with a murderous glint in his eyes. Tu Long swung his massive axe, sending Tu Tram tumbling through the dirt. In a flash, Trio Tu Long reverted back to his normal sheepish self. He scrambled over to his friend. "Tu Tram, I'm so sorry, are you okay?" "Whenever I transform, I get hit with this wave of uncontrollable, violent rage. I literally can't stop myself from hitting things." The protagonist stood up, grabbed Tu Long's shoulders, and laughed. "That's it, you're officially my best friend for life." Spotting their assigned teammate strolling past, the protagonist called out, "Hey, Nui Tat Hoi! Are you blind? We've been standing here waiting for you to lead the way for ages." Nui Tat Hoi didn't even slow down, saying coldly, "Why would I wait for you?" Tu Long added, "Principal Ann explicitly told us we were a team." Nui Tat Hoi stopped and looked them over with pure disdain. "I don't carry losers. Find your own way. I work best as a lone wolf." The protagonist thought to himself that this guy wasn't just acting tough. His arrogance was enough to drive someone to madness. Nui Tat Hoi wasn't finished. "I know exactly who you are, Tu Tram. You're that shameless clown who had the nerve to confess to Sister Mo Dung in front of the whole school. You're an embarrassment to her name. Do you have even the slightest clue of what Mo Dung Lu Lim represents to me? She is the peak I aim to reach, the very compass of my ambition. She is the goddess of my soul. I even have her private contact info right here, yet I've never summoned the courage to utter a single word to her. How could someone like you ever be worthy of loving her? Stay out of my sight. Just looking at your face makes my blood boil." Understood. So he's just another kid with a massive one-sided crush on a goddess, but at least he's blunt and doesn't hide behind a mask like that snake Lai Lang Tu. He turned his back and declared firmly, "I will claim the top spot in this trial. Nothing will stop me from walking the same path as Sister Mo Dung." Once Nui Tot Hoi stormed off, the protagonist found he still had people eager to join his ranks. Lai Loi already suspected that, to Tram, he wasn't the helpless loser everyone claimed he was, so he showed some respect and asked, "Big brother, why are there only 2 of you in this squad?" To Tram just shrugged. "Don't ask, man, it's a sad story. Nobody wanted to get stuck with us." Even though Lai Loi was a notorious bully, he was actually a fairly simple-minded guy. He pounded his chest and made an offer. "Then they're all blind fools. Brother Toe, let's team up together." The girl standing beside Lai Loi immediately hissed, "Lai Loi, are you crazy? Tram has no class." Lai Loi fired back, "Who cares? Brother Toe has raw, genuine power." The girl whined, "Did you not hear me? He's just going to be a massive anchor dragging us down." "I'm not letting him in." Li Loi tried to sell her on the idea. "Come on. I promise you that with Tram on our side, you won't lose out. In fact, we'll be the ones winning." Since the girl hadn't witnessed the sheer force of the protagonist's punch, she had no reason to trust such wild claims. "I'm done arguing. It's either him or me. If he stays, I'm walking." In a shocking twist, Lai Loi didn't even blink before shooing the girl away. "Fine then, beat it." The girl was stunned and beyond furious. "Lai Loi, what did you just say? I'm your girlfriend. You're choosing a piece of trash over me?" Lai Loi replied with total conviction. "Get moving. Women only slow down the momentum of my fists." The girl pointed a trembling finger at her cold-hearted boyfriend. "Lai Loi, you're a jerk. I'm going to find a team 10 times stronger than yours." She and the other youth stormed off, leaving one final threat. "You'll regret choosing him over us." The protagonist gave him a half-joking thumbs up. "Lai Loi, that was a legendary move. I've got to hand it to you." Lai Loi went with his gut. "Brother Toe, once we get into the thick of it, I'm counting on you to have my back." The protagonist gave a reassuring nod. "Easy stuff, let's move in." Is this the actual proving ground? Trio Tu Long took in the surroundings. The vibe here is totally different from the outside world. I can feel the energy buzzing in the air. The protagonist noted, "The monsters at the entrance have already been cleared out. We need to go deeper." The 3 boys trudged along in peace for a little while. A moment later, the protagonist pointed into the distance. "Enemy contact ahead. Those look like the red boar demons we studied in class." Lai Loi dropped into a low crouch to scout the beasts. "Confirmed. 2 of them roaming the plains up ahead. One is a red boar demon, and the other one is also a red boar demon." The protagonist was baffled by Lai Loi's masterful observation. "Is that the best you've got? Get in there." Lai Loi tried to pass the buck to Tu Long. "You're the man for the job. Go!" Tu Long immediately backed off. "No way, not me." Li Loi turned to the leader. "Big brother, you take them." The protagonist put on his arrogant front. Even though his punch was lethal, it needed a long time to charge, so he made a grand excuse. "Do you really think a pair of bottom-tier pigs is worth my personal attention?" The protagonist ordered both of them to charge, but they both dug in their heels. "Nope, I'm staying right here." "I physically cannot do it." Since Tu Long was his best friend, the protagonist forced the task onto Li Loi. "You're a warrior. If you won't lead the charge, who will? Get moving!" Li Loi looked worried and tried to give a final warning. "If I go in, things usually get complicated." But the protagonist wasn't listening. He just assumed Lai Loi was being a coward and gave him a shove. "Quit stalling and go." So Lai Loi reluctantly stepped out. One of the red boars spotted him and snorted, pawing the ground. Both boars squealed and charged at the intruder with full force. Lai Loi, possessing a frame that was significantly more massive and sturdy than his classmates, caught both boars with his bare hands, shoving them back with a powerful double-fist thrust. The protagonist was impressed. This Lai Loi didn't become the school bully just for show. His strength is the real deal. Lai Loi felt a brief surge of pride in his own power, but then his warning came true. Hearing a low, rhythmic thundering in the distance, the protagonist asked nervously, "What's that sound?" Then he saw a massive dust cloud as a whole stampede of red boars charged toward them. The protagonist's eyes widened in terror. What on earth did you do? Tulong was equally shocked by the sheer number. Is this a freak accident? Why are there so many of them? Lai Loi finally had the chance to finish his sentence. Brother To, even though I'm a tank warrior, I was born with a hidden trait. The monster-attracting physique. A monster-attracting physique? The other two stood paralyzed. Lai Loi explained, basically, if I tap just one monster, it acts like a signal flare that draws every single one of its friends in the area to come and kill me. The other two screamed in unison, "You old idiot! Why didn't you lead with that? Run!" The scouting party ahead consisted of a familiar duo, Trio Lo and Li Lang Tu. Trio Lo raised her enchanted staff, chanting Crimson Sun Fireball, to hurl 3 blazing spheres of heat toward the red boars. Without warning, the trio of boars swerved in a sharp detour, making Trio Lo's fireballs sizzle harmlessly into the dirt. Li Lang Tu blinked in disbelief. What just happened? Why are those red boar demons sprinting away like they've seen a ghost? A teammate in Trio Lo's squad pointed toward the horizon, shouting, "Look! The entire herd is stampeding in that direction." Trio Lo wasn't about to let her points walk away. Those boars are the most abundant and easiest prey in this zone. If we can't secure a high kill count now, our ranking progress will stall out completely. Thanks to the monster-attracting physique, the massive herd remained locked onto Lai Loi like iron filings to a magnet. Tulong yelled over the thundering hooves, "To Tram! The pack is getting bigger by the second! We can't just run forever!" To Tram snapped into leader mode, pointing toward a clearing. "Head for that opening! Hold your ground right there. I'm going to personally dismantle this mob." Tulong's face drained of color. "To Tram, don't be a fool, there are hundreds of them!" To Tram stepped into the path of the stampede, signaling his comrades. "You two back off, give me some space." Facing a wall of muscle and tusks this immense, a tactical retreat wasn't the answer. He needed a total wipeout in one hit. Luckily, the protagonist held the ultimate trump card. Drawing back his fist, he channeled a full day's worth of pent-up kinetic energy into a single point. The resulting shockwave was cataclysmic, vaporizing the entire stampeding herd in a single thunderous explosion of power. Back at the command center, the live leaderboard for the Tri-Academy trial flickered on the wall. Rank 1, Li Shuangyan, Academy number 1. The list continued. Tiu Hua, number 3 in second. Han Bat Lap, number 1 in third. Nguyen Tat Hoi, number 2 in fourth, followed by a string of elite names from Academy number 1. The data told a clear story. The scoreboard doesn't lie. My Academy number 1 is absolutely dominating. The majority of the top-tier hunters are our students. The speaker was Lai Thien Deep, the principal of Academy number 1, his voice dripping with smug satisfaction. Huyen Lam, the principal of Academy number 3, chimed in with a grin. My star pupil, Tiu Hua, is holding steady at second place. Not a bad showing for our school, either. Principal An, you're awfully quiet over there. Cat got your tongue? Principal An tried to maintain his dignity. Academy number 2 is holding its own. We've got a student sitting comfortably in fourth place. Huyen Lam let out a mocking laugh. How can you say that with a straight face? We all know Nguyen Tat Hoi only moved to Academy number 2 last week. He's an Academy number 1 product through and through. Li Thien Diep smirked. It's a bit tragic, really. Does Academy number 2 have so little homegrown talent that you have to scavenge our leftovers? That's just sad, Anne. Principal An shot back. As if you wouldn't do the same. I didn't see anyone stopping you from trying to recruit our best. Huyen Lam sneered dismissively. You're delusional. Does Academy number 2 even have anyone worth the paperwork? Without that transfer student, your school would be eating the dust of my Academy number 3. I expect our resource budget for next year to be significantly higher than yours after this performance. Though fuming, Principal An refused to back down. Don't count your chickens yet. The trial has barely even begun. Lai Thien Diep waved a dismissive hand. The opening moves usually decide the end game. The more monsters they slay, the faster they level up. The gap between the best and the rest is only going to grow. Suddenly, the leaderboard glitched and refreshed. The top name was replaced. Rank 1, To Tram, Academy. Number 2, 98 points. A staggering score nearly triple that of the runner-up. Lai Thien Diep roared, Who the hell is to tram? Where did this kid come from? He just rocketed to 98 points in a single update. How many did he kill in one go? Principal Ann was equally baffled. What on earth is happening? How did that no-class kid, Tram, suddenly seize the throne? Sensing a golden opportunity to gloat, Principal An beamed at Huyn Lam. Look who's acting big now. My Academy number 2 is sitting at the top. You feeling all right? Huyn Lam turned red, screaming, "There's a bug in the system." This has to be a technical error. Principal Ann laughed internally. Bug or not, I'm going to milk this for every bit of glory it's worth. Huyn Lam refused to accept that a total nobody could eclipse the elite geniuses by such a massive margin. It's impossible. It's a glitch. Principal An raised an eyebrow mockingly. A glitch? The central AI manages every point. We all know the AI is infallible. Huyn Lam barked at his assistants. Investigate this immediately. Find out where the data went wrong. Principal An leaned back, crossing his arms. Go ahead and check. It must hurt to see us in first place. Keep dreaming about surpassing us, Academy number 3. Meanwhile, back in the rift, Tu Long and Li Loi were paralyzed with shock. Did he seriously just delete an entire army of red boar demons with one swing? As the dust settled, the protagonist felt a torrential flood of energy rushing into his body. While he stood there trying to process the sensation, Tu Long pointed at him, eyes wide. 1 star! Brother Tu is evolving into a 1-star class user. Hitting 1 star this early in the trial. This kind of growth will make those so-called geniuses from Academy number 1 look like snails. The protagonist checked his internal state and muttered, 1 star? Since I don't actually have a class, I don't feel any different. I just feel full. Elsewhere in the dungeon, a mysterious duo found themselves encircled by a vicious pack of wolf demons. The wolves, however, were shredded in seconds. Pathetic 1-star mongrels, you really thought you had a chance? Both of us are far beyond 1-star level. In this beginner trial zone, there isn't a single soul who can challenge us. These two were clearly not students. One of them wiped his blade, saying, Ignore these pests. Stick to the mission. Are you certain the relic is in this sector? The other nodded, eyes gleaming. No doubt about it. This node might be new to the academies, but it's ancient history to us. People breached this space a millennium ago. Our prize is waiting. Initiate the activation sequence now! The azure gemstone triggered by the pair unveiled a concealed passageway. The sudden emergence of this portal sent a violent shockwave throughout the entire testing zone. The most alarming sign, those wolf demons are physically mutating and growing larger. This is a massive disturbance. More than that, I can feel the very fabric of this place shifting. The monster's power levels are skyrocketing. Something is seriously wrong. The two intruders began to panic. The mechanism is stuck. It won't open. Seizing the moment of distraction, the wolf demons lunged forward with bared fangs. One wolf slammed into a man with such force that he instantly realized it had reached 2-star strength. This is impossible. How did the threat level of these beasts jump from 1-star to 2-star in a heartbeat? There's only one explanation. Our interference caused the space node to evolve from a 1-star to a 2-star danger zone. We're in deep trouble. Li Loi remarked, I never imagined this trial would be such a breeze. We've been trekking for hours without a single fight. Brother Tu wiped out every red boar in this sector in one go. If we're looking for more action, we'll have to venture much deeper into the heart of the grounds. Just as they discussed finding targets, a flock of chicken-like creatures appeared. Everyone, stay low! Tu Long identified them as helm-headed chickens. These are true 1-star monsters, far more dangerous than those boars. Stay sharp. While the protagonist's squad stayed hidden to strategize, another group acted on pure impulse. They also spotted the flock. Finally, after 30 minutes of searching, we found something to kill. This trial is bizarre. The easy red boars are extinct. Now we're stuck with 1-star prey. These chickens are the weakest of the bunch. The 3 of us can take them down with a full assault. Li Loi wasn't about to let his points be stolen. He stepped out and shouted, Hold it right there! Trong do it. We clearly tracked these birds first. Do it barked back. Liloy, you're strong enough, but dragging to tram along makes your team a joke. Even if I handed these over, do you honestly have the guts to face 3 one-star monsters? Liloy nudged the protagonist to show off. Brother Toe, she's talking trash. Show her what's up. But 2 Tram just shook his head. I'm sitting this one out. I'm sitting. He thought to himself, show her what's up. Are you kidding? I'm completely tapped out after that big blast. Right now, I'm as powerless as a civilian. Liloy turned to his best friend. Too long, you're up then. We can't let a girl show us up like this. Too Long also wanted no part of the danger and flatly refused. Not happening. Frustrated by his reluctant teammates, the hot-headed Liloy growled, Fine, I'll do it myself. His 2 friends immediately grabbed the simple-minded giant. Whoa, easy there. Hold on, you definitely can't go in. If you jump in, it'll be a total disaster. Duyet sneered at the display. Just a bunch of fakes. Every single one of you is a coward. Suddenly, a 3rd group arrived to seize the prize. Young Master Hun of Academy No. 3 is taking over this sector. Bystanders clear out immediately. Liloy narrowed his eyes. He whispered to his team. That's Hun Kai. I've heard the name. He's the No. 3 ranked genius at Academy No. 3. Most importantly, he's the son of their principal, Hun Lam, a lackey following Hun Kai. Pointed a finger and announced, You losers from Academy No. 2, listen well. This territory is reserved for young Master Hun. These monsters are off limits. Liloy rolled his eyes. Reserved? What, does this moron think he's at a VIP lounge? Duyet hurried toward Hun Kai with a flirtatious smile. Brother Hun, surely you remember me? Hun Kai grinned. Oh, hey, Duyet. He put on an air of false generosity. The pretty girls can stay, but everyone else, get lost. However, Duyet suggested, Brother Hun, let them stay so they can see what a real elite team looks like. Hun Kai chuckled. Fine, once we're finished. Come over to the villa I just bought to hang out. My cat can actually do backflips. A female student suddenly screamed, Strike! The 3 girls in Duyet's group were encased in heavy, full-body plate armor. They brandished their blades and charged at the helm-headed chickens. The protagonist's group watched with folded arms, critiquing the scene. Those 3, with those figures, they're armored warriors? More like walking tanks. Duyet bragged to Liloy. See that? I've moved up to a real squad. Dumping me for 2 Tram was the biggest mistake of your life. Get ready to see your name at the bottom of the rankings. Youthful arrogance was on full display. Hun Kai roared heroically, I am a swordsman. Everyone clear the way. It's my time to shine. Let's carve up this pathetic chicken together. Suddenly, a violent energy spike caught Hun Kai's attention. Jagged metallic saws erupted from the heads and wings of the helm-headed chickens. Everyone gasped in horror. What is this? The monster's power is overflowing. Being right in the blast zone, Hun Kai was sent flying backward instantly. Seconds later, Duyet's group saw their heavy armor shattered like glass. The sudden reversal caused a total panic. These are 2-star saw-toothed monsters. How is this possible? How did they evolve from 1-star to 2-star in the blink of an eye? Hun Kai was stunned. 2-star saw-toothed monsters? What kind of nightmare is happening? Hun Kai's teammate hauled him up. Young master, forget the why and just run. We can't survive a fight with 2-star beasts. A trembling hand grabbed Hun Kai's sleeve. Duyet sobbed. Brother Hun, please don't leave me. Help me up, I'm hurt, I can't run! Hun Kai's true nature surfaced. With his own life on the line, he ditched the hero act and shoved Duyet to the ground. Get off me! Duyet's friends were left in a desperate struggle. Barely dodging the whirling blades of the saw-toothed monsters, Duyet clung to his leg, pleading, Brother Hun, I can't move. Please don't abandon me. You promised to show me the cat. Hun Kai didn't look back, desperate only to save his own skin. He spat back without mercy. Piss off! I can barely save my own skin right now, let alone yours. Seeing the guy she idolized as the strongest ditch her, Duyet turned as white as a sheet. What? No! What am I supposed to do? Someone help me! Huin Kai's squad barked at each other. Move it! Run for your lives! But a mechanical saw-toothed beast had already cut off their escape route. Huin Kai's lackey groaned in despair. Young Master Huin, now what? Even if the three of us go all out, we're no match for one of these saw-toothed freaks, and there are two. Huin Kai snapped. Don't lose your cool. My old man gave me a trump card for emergencies. You losers, enjoy this little gift. He hurled a glowing violet sphere straight at the protagonist's group. The protagonist caught the orb out of mid-air, blinking in confusion. What's this supposed to be? Tulong screamed in a panic. To Tram, drop it! That's a monster-baiting lure. It forces every beast in the area to target you. But the warning came a second too late. The orb shattered and erupted into a thick cloud of pheromone smoke that drenched the protagonist's team. Instantly, the saw-toothed monsters locked their predatory sights solely onto Tram's squad. Huin Kai cackled as he retreated. This young master is generous enough to let you keep these monsters all to yourself. To Tram's blood reached a boiling point. You absolute snake! You actually set me up! I'm coming for you, mark my words! Huin Kai sneered back. You're about to be lunch. Why would a young master like me fear a threat from a dead man? Duyet's legs turned to jelly. She collapsed, trembling like a leaf. I'm a goner. What do I do? I don't want to die yet. Please save me. I'll do anything you want. Lai Loi, pushed to the edge by her wailing, roared, Zip it! Your crying is driving me insane. Can't you see we're still standing right here? Duyet looked at them, her fear mixing with bitter resentment. The three of you! You're all pathetic. What can you possibly do? You were too chicken to fight a one-star bird, and now you think you can handle two-star saw-toothed monsters? Her constant nagging nearly got her flattened as the monster's heavy foot smashed down. Distracted by Duyet's piercing shriek, Tram instinctively glanced back and took a brutal kick to the spine from the beast. The big brother was sent sprawling into the dirt. Lai Loi's heart sank. This is bad. Even Brother Toe is being overpowered by these saw-toothed monsters. But he squared his shoulders, ready for the end. Guess we go out fighting. Tulong grabbed his arm to stop him. He stepped forward, his face tight with resolve. You can't jump in yet. This time it's my turn. And despite the sheer humiliation of it, Tulong activated his transformation into a frilly magical girl warrior. Liloi's jaw hit the floor, his eyes bulging in absolute disbelief. What in the world? What am I looking at? Tulong swung his massive axe to deflect a lethal blow, shouting to his friends, To Tram, get out of here while you can. I'll hold these saw-toothed monsters back. Spotting a chance to live, Duyet scrambled up. Yes, exactly. Good luck, warrior. We're leaving first. To Tram, Lai Loi, quit stalling and protect me. The three of us need to get to safety now. The monster's onslaught became a whirlwind of steel and fury. Tulong was forced into a desperate dance of retreats to keep from being shredded. But Duyet kept yanking onto Tram's sleeve, hissing, Are you deaf? While that thing is distracting them, we need to run! As if he would ever abandon his best friend to save his own skin. The protagonist growled, If you want to run, then run. I'm not moving an inch. Duyet wouldn't stop her poisonous chatter. You're a classless nobody, yet you're acting all noble and brave? You're just asking for death. How did I get stuck with such worthless trash? Tram finally snapped. Without even looking, he backhanded Duyet away. Will you shut your annoying mouth already? Duyet shrieked in outrage. You actually hit me? She turned to her ex-boyfriend, expecting backup. Lai Loi! That loser just struck me. Are you just going to stand there? Lai Loi, sick of her toxicity, didn't even look at her. Beat it! I've been wanting to slap some sense into you for ages. Despite his one-star rank, Tulong managed to hold his own against the two-star threats, proving his hidden strength was far beyond any average student. Seeing his friend bruised and bleeding, Tram couldn't watch from the sidelines anymore. He stepped up and commanded, Fall back. These things are out of your league. Tulong tried to warn him. Tram, don't be a hero. You just got floored a second ago. but the protagonist's fury was overflowing. "You dared to lay a hand on my brother for life. I'm going to tear you apart!" The protagonist's rage meter was completely maxed out. As the two monsters closed in for the kill, he roared, "Charged one punch!" His pent-up anger exploded. With a single thunderous blow, the protagonist shattered both saw-toothed monsters into scrap metal. Lai Loi stared in total awe. "That's my big brother, deleting two of them with one hit. What kind of monster strength is that?" The protagonist analyzed his own power. "When I first unlocked Charged One Punch, the system said, power scales with charge time and rage. Using pure fury to fuel the strike was a massive success." Duyet rubbed her eyes in disbelief. "This can't be real. A nobody like Tram can't be that strong. He must have just stolen the kill after we did all the hard work." But the victory was short-lived. The sound of the explosion was drawing even more saw-toothed beasts to their location. "If they keep swarming us like this, we'll be trapped here forever." The protagonist muttered under his breath. "Damn it, that last swing ate up half my rage. I need to get my blood boiling again to reset the cooldown. Huinkai, I'm going to make your ancestors regret ever existing." The protagonist began shouting insults into the air, using his hatred for the traitor to fuel his next strike. But this tactic isn't working. It's no use. Even that backstabbing Huinkai doesn't provide enough fuel to ignite my fury. Standing his ground, he faced two saw-toothed predators crouching for a lethal pounce. With his allies completely incapacitated, the protagonist had to get creative to spark his own internal fire. "The great path cleaves the enemy's skull." He threw a double fist strike, shoving the mechanical beasts back. He began chanting historical grievances that made his own skin crawl with indignation. "The 14 years of blood-soaked resistance. My heart is overflowing with ultimate burning rage. I've banked enough fury to delete another one. Remember the humiliation of the Jingkong incident? The Manchu invasion, the tragic fall at the Battle of Yamen, the unyielding spirit of China, the chaos of the 5 barbarians, the disaster at Tumu Fortress, the Opium Wars, the pillaging of the Old Summer Palace. This is the ancestral wrath coded into my very DNA. One spark and I'm a walking supernova." Lai Loi was fast becoming the protagonist's #1 fanboy. "Absolutely mental. Tram is a total madman. I have a strike that carries the weight of a lifetime of vengeance. Strike! Strike for the glorious resurgence of our people." Empowered by the sheer weight of national pride, the protagonist vaporized every remaining monster. In that triumphant silence, Duyet finally ran out of any excuses to deny Tram's overwhelming power. She stood there, completely shell-shocked. A classless dud just decimated a swarm of 2-star horrors. Is this a divine intervention? The protagonist's inner monologue surged. "This realm is treacherous, but since I, Tram, have arrived, I will bleed for this world and shield it with the same love I held for my old home." Hearing him ramble, his friends were utterly lost. Liloi could only hazard a wild guess. "Brother Toe, are you secretly a high-level mage? Was that some kind of forbidden incantation? The more he rants, the deadlier he gets." Lai Loi glanced at Tu Long, who was finally catching his breath. He couldn't help but whisper, "I don't understand a single word he's saying, but I'm terrified and impressed." Back at HQ, the leaderboard shifted again. Principal Lai Thien Diep found the new order more comforting. Li Shuangyan had surged ahead to reclaim the top spot. True talent always rises to the surface. Meanwhile, Huin Lam had never missed a beat in his quest to mock Academy #2. "And Huai Tri, why so quiet? Your boy Tram just slipped down to 3rd place." Principal Anne replied coolly, "And what if he is 3rd? Holding 3rd place among all 3 schools is still a legendary achievement." Huin Lam scoffed with typical arrogance. He continued to belittle the student. "Give me a break. Stop lying to yourself. That nobody Tram hasn't gained a single point in ages. It proves he's just a flash in the pan. A complete fluke. Now that the actual prodigies are trying, Tram will be kicked out of the top 10 within minutes. Suddenly, the board underwent a cataclysmic shift. What? First place, Tram, 208 points. It was insanity. How did he suddenly double his score and leave second place in the dust? While Principal Ann roared with laughter. The other two principals stood frozen, unable to process the sheer absurdity of the data. Principal Ann symbolically slapped Principal Hun's ego. Hear that pop sound, Hun Lam? That's the sound of your pride breaking. Stop letting Academy number one hog the spotlight. Hun Lam refused to accept his rival's sudden rise, objecting loudly, "Director Lai, this is a scam. Either this kid is cheating, or the entire simulation is compromised." Principal Ann waved him off. "Cry louder. There's no mistake here." Feeling a bit humble yet? Suddenly, the entire command center flashed a crimson hazard light. The three leaders looked up in unison. What's happening? Is the system crashing? This is a level 1 emergency. A critical failure has occurred within the trial zone. Huin Lam was just waiting for a chance to strike back. Huin Lam barked, "Just as I thought. The trial glitched. And Huai Tree, who's the laughingstock now? Tram's fake score is meaningless." But the reality was far grimmer than he imagined. A frantic staff member burst into the room to report, "Directors, we have a catastrophic situation. Moments ago, the spatial coordinates of the rift shifted. The 1-star training zone has spontaneously evolved into a 2-star death trap." The principals were stunned. What? How is a spontaneous evolution even possible? Principal Lai demanded answers. What triggered the shift? Have we found the source? The messenger replied, "The cause is a mystery. But with the shift, every 1-star monster inside has mutated into a lethally aggressive 2-star variant." Principal Lai's face went pale. This is a massacre in the making. 1-star students simply cannot survive 2-star predators. Even a prodigy like Li Shuangyan will be fighting just to stay alive. Principal An stepped forward. "Can we send in an extraction team?" The messenger shook his head. "Negative. The zone has evolved, but the gateway remains locked. Only those below 1-star rank can pass the barrier. Every teacher and guard on site is too powerful to cross over." "This is a nightmare. Those 2-star beasts are going to hunt our students for sport," Principal An said calmly. "Not necessarily." Principal Huin's eyes flared with anger. "What do you mean, not necessarily?" "And why try? Your school is the bottom of the barrel. Your students will be the first ones to be slaughtered." Principal Ann pointed a steady finger at the screen. "Look at Tram's rank. It didn't just move, it exploded. Do you know what that means? It means he's hunting 2-star monsters." Only by harvesting 2-star kills could he have banked that many points so fast. But Hun Lam found the idea laughable. "Impossible! You expect me to believe Academy number 2 produced a monster like that?" However, Principal Lai nodded slowly in agreement. As hard as it is to swallow, it's the only logical explanation for those numbers. Principal Ann was so fed up he took off his shoe and slapped Principal Hun across the face with it. Hun pushed him back, livid. "Why the hell did you hit me?" Principal An replied with righteous fury. "That was for constantly trash-talking my school. I slapped you for your own good. Consider it a wake-up call. Here's a shoe for you to crawl into and hide." Having scrapped the saw-toothed beasts, the protagonist warned his team, "The rift has changed. 2-star monsters shouldn't be here. We need to reach the exit immediately." Tu Long sighed. "The extraction point at the far end of this secret realm is still miles away." Finally seeing the protagonist for the powerhouse he was, Duyet prepared to be his shadow. "Big brother, please don't leave me behind." Disgusted by her flip-flopping, the protagonist smirked sarcastically. "Call me Daddy, and maybe I'll consider it." Fearing for her life, she didn't blink. Besides, what use is pride when your life is on the line? She dropped to her knees, clutching the protagonist's arm with a desperate grin. "Daddy, oh Daddy, please let me bask in your glorious radiance." Tram was floored by her sudden transformation. Damn, she's really leaning into the shameless role. Meanwhile, the two mysterious intruders, the ones responsible for the skyrocketing danger, were in a bind. The ancient bronze giant gate remained stubbornly sealed, and they were boxed in by a swarm of two-star predators. A one-star zone evolving into two-star. Is completely unheard of. This must be a side effect of the artifact young Master Law is after. Only recruits below 1 star can enter this zone, so the boss spent a fortune on high-tech cloaking gear to smuggle us 1-star pros in. We knew the loot was top tier, but we didn't expect it to trigger a map-wide level shift. No use crying over spilled milk. Survival is the only priority now. One grunted. Quit yapping. The only thing that matters is the exit. The other pointed out that the extraction portal is locked behind that bronze gate. To get the prize or escape, they have to force it open. His partner looked grim. Then we're trapped, aren't we? Since the zone shifted to 2-star, that gate likely requires a 2-star level of power to trigger. With these 2-star beasts hunting us, we're sitting ducks. Who could possibly hit 2-star in the middle of this mess? The two outsiders had no clue that among the amateur students, one was actually making that impossible jump. Tram's squad now had a self-appointed mascot. As they neared the extraction point, Too Long sighed. The anomaly happened ages ago. If no teachers have busted in yet, the barrier must be holding them back. We're truly on our own. Lai Loi couldn't hide his anxiety about the 2-star gauntlet ahead. How are we supposed to reach the end of this nightmare in one piece? I wonder how many students are going to end up as monster snacks today. Just as the words left his mouth, Liloi spotted 2 classmates frantically outrunning a beast. Heads up! It's right on your tail! One of the runners was the ever-boastful Lai Lang Tiu, the guy who always bragged about being a real man because he could unload 16 rounds in 3 seconds. Unfortunately, his rapid-fire barrage was about as effective as throwing pebbles. No way! My lead can't even scratch the hide of a 2-star monster. Trio Lo stepped up. The no-nonsense girl slammed her staff down, casting Mother Earth Quicksand Trap. The solid ground beneath the monster liquefied into a swirling vortex of sand. The beast's momentum died instantly as it sank. Lai Lang Tiu cheered. Lo, you're a lifesaver. The mage class is absolutely broken, Trio Lo snapped. Move! That's only going to hold it for a few seconds. Just then, Tram's group caught up. Too Long recognized the pair immediately. It's Trio Lo and her crew. They're tangling with a lethal 2-star one-horned wolf. At the sound of the voice, Lai Lang Tiu looked back and sneered. Tram? You, the classless wonder? You're actually still breathing? Talk about dumb luck. Trio Lo, don't waste your time on them. Let's ditch them. Lai Lang Tiu put on his best alpha act. Come on, Lo, we need to keep moving so these anchors don't drag us down to the bottom with them. Trio Lo offered a cold parting shot. Tram, don't take this personally. We're done. Don't try to follow us. I'm not playing babysitter, and I certainly won't risk my neck for you. The two bolted. Liloi stared after them, stunned by their audacity. Who said anything about needing a rescue? Talk about a massive ego. Duye, having fully committed to her role as Tram's cheerleader, didn't hold back. Ugh, I can't stand that woman. She's blind as a bat. What a total loser. She reminds me way too much of the old me. I honestly have no idea what Big Brother Tram ever saw in her. She isn't even fit to polish his boots. Too Long was low-key impressed. Wow, she's so eager to suck up she's even roasting her past self. Seeing those two and hearing their pity talk made Tram's blood boil. Man, that really chaps my hide. I need to go wreck some 2-star monsters to cool off. Can't let this perfect rage go to waste. Taste my fist. The protagonist unleashed a wave of fury, turning monsters into piles of experience points. Liloi, watching the destruction for the 3rd time, was becoming more baffled by the 2nd.
Unreal. Brother Toe, what is your class, seriously? Is it really classless? My brain is melting trying to figure this out. Too Long just shrugged, equally stumped.
I'm as lost as you are, but Tram is definitely a no-class guy on paper. But here was the kicker. Even without an official profession, Tram was gaining power exactly like a registered user. Looking at the two glowing stars rotating above his head, the protagonist, who clearly skipped most of his orientation classes, asked, what are these floaty things? Liloy beamed with excitement. That's your rank, Brother Toe. You're at quasi 2-star. Just one more push and you'll be a certified 2-star class user. The protagonist looked back, confused. 2-star already? Is leveling up supposed to be this easy? Liloy nearly choked. Easy? You're the first person in history to call this easy. Hitting 1-star is a walk in the park. Because awakening naturally pushes your power close to that level. But after 1-star, every step forward is like climbing a mountain. The difficulty spikes 10,000-fold. Most people never see 2-star in their lifetime. Even the talented ones hit a wall at 2 or 3-star. Too Long chimed in. Plus, once you hit the 2-star threshold, you have to pass a class advancement trial. That's where most dreams go to die. The protagonist looked like a deer in headlights. A class advancement trial, what's that? Liloy, the former school bully, looked disappointed. Brother Toe, that was covered in the first week of school. Did you sleep through every lecture? Tram coughed awkwardly. I was just testing your knowledge. Duyet raised her hand like a teacher's pet. Big brother, Toe, let me explain. Every profession has its own star tower. When you're ready to break through to a new tier, you have to enter your specific tower for a test. You only get that next star if you survive. And trust me, those towers are death traps. Every year, brilliant students either don't come out or come out so broken they never fight again. It's the ultimate filter for elites. Too Long added, high-star pros are rarer than diamonds. The only reason you're zooming through levels is that you're hunting monsters way out of your league. Usually a 1-star taking down a 2-star is unheard of. This sparked a thought in Tram. So, 2-star means a trial in a tower that matches your class. But if I don't have a class, where am I supposed to go? Since his situation was a total anomaly, everyone just gave him a blank stare and shook their heads. No clue. Is there even a star tower for people with nothing? Liloy rubbed his chin. Not that I've ever heard of. All towers are strictly categorized. No class, no entry. The protagonist's eyes lit up with optimism. Does that mean I can just keep leveling up forever without having to do any stupid trials? Liloy looked unsure. Too Long voiced a darker theory. Or it could mean you've hit a dead end with no way to progress. But Tram had the system. He had every reason to stay confident. He gestured to the group. Let's keep moving. We'll find out the truth after I flatten a few more 2-star freaks. The group eventually reached a clearing where several other squads had gathered. Everyone was standing in a tense circle, watching a high-stakes duel between a lone student and a saw-toothed beast. Since not everyone has a system cheating for them, seeing a freshman solo a higher-tier monster was proof of genuine genius. Look at that! She's actually holding her own against a 2-star saw-toothed monster. The beast's attacks were relentless. The girl, clearly a high-tier talent, triggered her class skill, Shadow Stealth, and blinked out of existence. A split second later, she materialized directly above the monster's head. She drove her dagger deep into the beast's nape, but the reinforced armor was too thick to penetrate cleanly. The monster roared and bucked, throwing the girl into the air like a rag doll. Damn it! Even though I can find openings to strike these saw-toothed freaks, I've only just hit the 1-star milestone. My level is too low. There's no way I can land a finishing blow on a 2-star saw-toothed beast. This elite girl is Li Shuangyan, the pride of Academy No. 1. The spectators on this ridge began to whisper, "Who is that? Daring to duel a 2-star nightmare solo?" "That's Li Shuangyan, the top-tier prodigy of Academy No.
one and arguably the best among all three schools. You haven't heard of the battle goddess?
Lai Shuangyan's profession is Shadow Assassin. It's an incredibly lethal combat class. There's a legendary 9-star human master with that exact same title. Li Shuangyan is our only hope for survival. As expected of a premier genius, she can actually trade blows with a 2-star beast. The rest of us aren't even playing the same game. Li Loi, having seen far more explosive feats, found Li Shuangyan's struggle quite underwhelming. Who says nobody is in her league? What's the big deal about a stalemate? My big brother, too, can delete 2-star monsters in a single heartbeat. In fairness, Li Loi didn't really need to brag, because logically no one would ever believe him anyway. One boy sneered, "You must have polished off a bottle of whiskey before coming in here to spout such nonsense." The others also thought the protagonist's group was blowing smoke. "You're killing me. One-shotting a 2-star? He's clearly lost his mind." Maybe he's crazy, but like Brother Tiu said, he's definitely wasted. Li Loi just sighed and shook his head. Seeing how green and naive these students were, he retorted, "Just because it's impossible for you, you assume it's impossible for everyone, right? That's just your narrow-mindedness talking. Brother To, do you want to give them a little demonstration and shut them up?" The protagonist replied coolly, "Stay humble." Two boys named Tu pointed at Li Loi, barking, "Hey kid, do you have any idea who you're talking to? How dare you say I'm not enough? I am Tu Hua Hua, the undisputed genius of Academy number 3. My power is second only to Li Shuangyan herself. Even I can barely manage to escape a 2-star monster with my skin intact. You claim he can crush a 2-star monster? That's a joke. If he actually pulls it off, I'll call him Daddy." Duyet had reached her limit and snapped, "Zip it!" Tiu Hua Hua shot a glance at Duyet. "And who are you supposed to be? What's it to you anyway?" Duyet declared fiercely, "You're not allowed to steal my daddy title." At first, Tiu Hua Hua couldn't wrap his head around her logic. Then the realization hit him, and he fired back, "Who's trying to steal her dad? She's completely nuts." The protagonist sighed. "Truong Duyet, what are you even saying?" "Don't talk crazy, I'm not his father." Tiu Hua Hua rubbed his nose arrogantly. "Kid, at least you're sensible. At least you know your place in the world." The protagonist replied with a smirk. "Wouldn't calling me that be letting him take advantage of me?" Hearing this, Duyet chirped, "Exactly! That's a total rip-off!" Tiu Hua Hua was turning purple with rage. "I offered to call you father, and that's you being exploited? You people!" He was so angry his insides were in knots. "Today, I'm definitely going to teach you all some manners." The saw-toothed beasts below were becoming increasingly frenzied, because Li Shuangyan could only buy time and lacked the raw power to execute a 2-star predator. She shouted a warning to the idle crowd above. "Everyone, a saw-toothed raid is incoming. Fall back to the exit immediately." The spectators panicked, yelling, "Two 2-star monsters!" Li Shuangyan was nearing her breaking point. "Go! Run!" The monsters didn't even care about her anymore. They were locking onto the fleeing students as their primary targets. Seeing the impending massacre, Li Shuangyan tried to bait them back. "You monsters, look at me!" She wasn't just playing hero. She knew she had the best chance of escaping safely compared to anyone else. But with multiple beasts and only one of her, the situation was dire. "I can only pin down one of them. This is going to be a disaster." Tiu Hua Hua spat one last insult before turning to bolt. "Kid, consider yourself lucky. If it weren't for this monster raid, you'd be eating dirt right now. I'll finish this later." He scrambled toward his teammates. He urged them to hurry as the 2-star monsters lunged. Li Shuangyan desperately called for a volunteer. "Is anyone capable of helping me block the beast in front? If it reaches the general student group, the casualties will be horrific." The protagonist then shouted to the loudmouth, "Hey, Tiu Hua Hua, she's calling your name." Tiu Hua Hua barked, "Shut your mouth!" The protagonist toyed with him, telling Li Shuangyan, "His power is even higher than the top genius of Academy number 3. Tiu Hua Hua here said he could solo a 2-star monster." Tiu Hua Hua shrieked back, "To tram, you snake! When did I ever say that?" The protagonist shrugged. Just giving you your moment in the spotlight. Shine on. Li Shuangyan was desperate for any backup. Hearing the claim, she pleaded, "Hua, hold that beast for just a second. As soon as I repel this one, I'll jump in to help." Hua was backed into a corner. No. The protagonist prodded him. Hua, surely the great genius isn't terrified. Blinded by his own vanity, Hua boasted, "Who says I'm scared? I am the premier talent of Academy number 3. I represent my entire school. I can take a 2-star monster, die!" But before he could even land a hit, the monster swatted him like a fly, sending him tumbling and coughing up blood. Faced with a choice between ego and survival, Hua chose his legs. "Oh my God, 2-star monsters are terrifying! Help!" The protagonist muttered, "What a useless piece of garbage." Hua had failed miserably, but he still wanted to see the classless kid suffer. "A nobody like you dares to look down on me? Now watch as you get shredded by a 2-star beast." Nearby, Li Shuangyan managed to kick back her attacker. She sprinted toward the cliff to rescue the person above. She screamed, "Run toward me, I'll protect you!" The protagonist took his stance, ready to show the two geniuses what real power looked like. "You picked a bad time. The rage I just built up is exactly enough for one punch." The script was clear. Hua laughed at the start, but would be humiliated at the finish. What am I even witnessing? A lunatic actually picking a fight with a 2-star beast? Do you seriously think you're in the same league as Li Shuangyan? Even Li Shuangyan assumed the protagonist was being suicidal. 2-star monsters aren't something a typical student can survive. But if the protagonist didn't have a plan, he would have bolted, rather than staying behind to be a target. Hua's eyes nearly popped out of his skull from the sheer shock. What on earth? A single punch just turned that saw-toothed predator into a pile of scrap metal? Li Shuangyan, who had been struggling in a dead heat with the 2-star beast, was even more floored. If I hadn't seen it myself, I'd swear it was a lie. I thought I was the strongest across all 3 academies, but this guy is on a completely different level of ferocity. Whose student is he? By relentlessly crushing monsters far above his rank, the protagonist finally gathered enough essence to pierce the first veil of true power, though it came with a nasty side effect, a pounding migraine. Tu Long and Lai Loi rushed to his side with visible worry. "Tram, what's happening?" "Big brother, are you hurt?" The protagonist signaled that he was all right. "This sensation, I must have hit 2-star. I didn't realize breaking through would feel like my skull is being split open with an axe." Lai Loi couldn't mask his awe. "A genuine 2-star! Ranking up without ever stepping foot in a star tower? Brother To, you're truly a freak of nature." Tu Long was slowly getting used to his friend's impossible feats. Tram was already a total anomaly for having no class. Breaking the rules of the star tower is just par for the course for him. The protagonist celebrated quietly. The upside, I don't need a star tower to get stronger. The downside, while everyone else gets a massive power surge at 2-star, I feel exactly the same, just with a massive headache. Li Shuangyan asked with genuine curiosity, "What's your name?" "Obliterating a 2-star beast with one strike, with that kind of raw power, how have I never heard of you? What exactly is your profession?" The protagonist introduced himself simply. "Tram, I'm classless." Hearing classless, Li Shuangyan assumed he was just being secretive about his elite path. "Fair enough. If you want to keep your secrets, I won't pry. We are rivals in this trial after all. Tram, you're the first person, and that I, Li Shuangyan, consider a real challenge. Let's see who comes out on top. I don't plan on losing." The protagonist felt a bit awkward. Who said anything about a competition? He told her the truth, but her genius brain refused to accept it. There was no use arguing, so he turned to his squad. "Let's move. We need to clear out of this zone immediately." He glanced over and saw Hua staring at him with a jaw hanging to the floor. He couldn't help but ask, "Why are you still standing there?" Hua stammered sheepishly, "Please let me join you. I want to be on your team." After seeing that godlike strength, Hua realized that sticking with Toe Tram was his only insurance policy. I'm hitching my wagon to this star no matter what. The protagonist challenged him. Give me one good reason why I should babysit you. Hua, much like Duyet, was desperate for a shield, and dropped to his knees without a second thought. I, Hua, have wandered through life without a true mentor to guide me. If you'll have me, I'm ready to honor you as my sworn foster father. The rest of the group stood paralyzed by the sheer, shameless decisiveness of this genius from Academy Number 3. The protagonist let out an amused whistle. Holy cow, you really are a special kind of genius. Later, the party reached the massive bronze gate, where a crowd of students had stalled. According to the map, they were at the finish line. Behind those doors lay the exit array. Tu Long sensed a problem. Something's off. Why is everyone just standing around? Why hasn't anyone passed through the bronze gate yet? Lai Loi went to dig for answers from the crowd. What's the holdup? A student filled him in. Listen, Loi, this bronze gate won't budge without a 2-star user. We're trapped. We just barely managed to drive off a pack of 2-star monsters as a group. Li Loi turned back to the protagonist. Only a 2-star can trigger the mechanism. Brother Toe, you're our only hope. Hua, lurking at the rear of the pack, looked back and saw a cloud of dust as a stampede approached. This is a whole legion of 2-star monsters. The gathered students descended into a total panic. We're dead. The 2-star beasts are coming for us. Quick, get into position. You guys up front, hold the line. Everyone else move. I'm a support type. Let me get to the back. Chaos erupted as people shoved each other aside. Move it! Don't block the exit! Let me through to the safety of the rear! Lai Lang, too, was fuming at the disorder. Do you have any idea who my father is? Back off. I am Lai Lang to you, a sharpshooter. My class is all about offense, not tanking. I belong in the back row. Thak Hao, on elite from Academy Number 3, barked, I don't care about your class. Academy Number 3 takes the inner circle, and you Academy Number 2 losers can deal with the monsters outside. The Academy number. 2 students glared at him. Bullying the weak, huh? You don't dare mess with Academy Number 1, so you pick on us? There are even more 2-star monsters appearing. You're basically sentencing us to death. Triolo tried to command respect, says by flaunting her status. Excuse me, I am Triolo. I am a noble mage and the premier talent of Academy Number 2. Show some professional courtesy. Thak Hao sneered. Save your breath. I'm Thak Hao, the second best at Academy Number 3. Your title means nothing here. Our school is superior to your pathetic Academy Number 2, so you'll follow our orders. The vengeful Trulo gritted her teeth. Thak Hao, huh? I've got your name written down. I won't forget your face. The protagonist and his crew pushed through the throng to the very front. Pardon us, let us through. Lai Lang Tiu saw them and did a double take. Is that to Tram's squad? How are these nobodies still in one piece? Thak Hao roared. Did you not hear me? All Academy Number 2 students get to the perimeter. The protagonist ignored the hostility and spoke calmly. Step aside and let me open this bronze gate so everyone can get out. Thak Hao burst into a fit of mocking laughter. Are you delusional? Cracking this gate requires a 2-star class user. Our only chance is Li Shuangyan, the top genius from Academy Number 1. We're all just praying she gets here in time. Who do you think you are? If you can actually open that door, I'll call you Dad. The protagonist raised an eyebrow. Is calling people Dad a mandatory course at Academy Number 3? Thak Hao completely missed the sarcasm and just felt insulted. You Academy Number 2 trash, you dare mock me? An ordinary person like you has no right to even open your mouth in the presence of geniuses like us. The protagonist flashed a middle finger at the pompous Thak Hao. Are you eating garbage? Your breath is absolutely rancid. Li Lang too, as if determined to keep Academy Number 2 at the bottom of the social ladder, turned around and insulted his own teammate, sucking up to the guy who hated his school. To Tram, who do you think you are? How dare you speak so disrespectfully to someone like Thach Hao? Triolo sank deeper into her delusions. He's probably just trying to impress me. Being near me must give him a surge of reckless, foolish bravado, Thach Hao growled. You want to die today? I'm going to fold you like a lawn chair. Lai Lang Tiu watched with a sick hope that Tram would get pulverized. Tiu Hua, who had been waiting for the perfect moment to prove his loyalty to the protagonist, finally moved. He delivered a thunderous slap to Thach Hao's face. Get lost! Make way for the man! The force of the blow sent Thach Hao spinning, causing him to crash right into Lai Lang Tiu. Poor Li Lang Tiu was forced to act as a human shock absorber for the heavy bully. Thach Hao roared in a daze. Which bastard hit me? Tiu Hua stepped forward with an air of authority. Thach Hao, you blind pig, do you seriously not recognize me? When Thach Hao realized who had struck him, his rage vanished instantly, replaced by groveling respect. Brother Hoa, what are you doing here? Tiu Hua was a name that carried heavy weight. The crowd began to buzz. Look, it's Tiu Hua, the top-tier prodigy of Academy No. 3. They say his combat power is on par with Li Shuangyan. Tiu Hua barked. Who gave you the right to lift a finger against him? Did I give you permission to act like a thug? He slapped Thach Hao a second time. And once again, Lai Lang Tiu's back served as Thach Hao's landing pad. Thach Hao whined, Brother Hoa, this kid is just a nobody from Academy No. 2. He tried to make me call him Dad. I had to put him in his place. Tiu Hua delivered a third, even harder slap. You think you're even worthy of being his son? Lang Tiu, once again, had the honor of cushioning Thach Hao's fall. Thach Hao was shell-shocked, his ears ringing. Wait, I'm not worthy to call him Dad? Li Lang Tiu finally crawled out from under the bully. He whispered to his girlfriend, Lo, why is Tiu Hua defending our school all of a sudden? Trio Lo continued her fantasy. It's obvious. He's clearly trying to win my favor. The brainless Lai Lang Tiu nodded along. That makes sense. Only someone as beautiful as Lo could earn the respect of a legend like Tiu Hua. Tiu Hua ignored them, turning toward the protagonist with the posture of a loyal subordinate. Is my handling of these pests to your satisfaction, sir? Trio Lo answered for him with a smug grin. I'm satisfied. Lai Lang Tiu, being even more of a sycophant, added, Brother Hoa, you're a true gentleman. On behalf of everyone at Academy No. 2, thank you. Tiu Hua looked at them like they were pond scum. He shoved them aside effortlessly. Who was talking to you? Get out of my sight! Tiu Hua stood respectfully before the protagonist. Trio Lo and her partner finally felt the sting of humiliation as the truth dawned on them. Tiu Hua stood at attention, asking the protagonist, Is there anything else bothering you? Just give me the word, and I'll handle it. While Lai Lang Tiu was at least smart enough to be confused. Wait, what? Why is a top-ranked genius being so submissive toward this loser? Trio Lo's ego was so bruised, she just added another name to her grudge list. Tiu Hua, you're on my list now too. By this point, the thundering footsteps of the two-star monster horde were almost upon them. Suddenly, Li Shuangyan and her elite strike team appeared on the scene. This squad was composed of the only students capable of holding back two-star threats. The crowd cheered as hope returned. It's Li Shuangyan, Nguyen Tat Hoi, So Hien, and Deep Bat Pham. The top 10 are all here. We might actually survive this. Unlike the protagonist, Li Shuangyan moved through the crowd like a VIP, heading straight for the objective. Clear a path, I'm opening the bronze gate. She braced herself, pushing against the ancient metal with every ounce of her strength. Move, damn you! The elite group she led was barely managing to keep the monsters at bay. They were defending, but they weren't winning. Nguyen Tat Hoi shouted over the roar of battle. Li Shuangyan, we can't hold them much longer. Is the gate open yet? Li Shuangyan gritted her teeth in frustration. It's stuck. It won't budge without two-star power. Despair washed over the students. If even she can't open it, we're doomed. How can anyone hit two-star without the tower? This is the end. All hope is lost. All. The protagonist stepped forward and said calmly, Let me have a go. Ngui Hoi looked at him like he was insane. You? What kind of joke is this? The protagonist walked up to the gate with total confidence. I can open this. Ngui Hoi naturally assumed it was a desperate bluff. You? Open this gate? Don't make me laugh. Quit playing around. You're not even on the team. Surviving this long was a fluke. Lai Lang Tu added his own mockery. To Tram, do you really think anyone is that stupid? Only a total moron would believe a single word you say. Knowing no one would accept the truth of his power, the protagonist improvised. I know the ancient incantation to trigger the lock. Everyone, back off. As ridiculous as it sounded, that Hoi found it more believable than a nobody having 2-star strength. An incantation? What a load of crap. This gate needs raw 2-star energy, not magic words. The protagonist used the spell as a cover. He began chanting while taking shots at his haters. Lai Lang Tu is a massive moron. Ngui Tat Hoi is a paper tiger. You two idiots grant me your stupidity. By the power of the heavens, open! The crowd was baffled. Is he serious? He's literally calling them idiots and paper tigers. He's trolling us. There's no way that works. As he rambled, the protagonist placed a hand on the door and pushed. If that door actually opens, I, Lai Lang Tu, will livestream myself eating a pile of shit. The boy really should have been more careful with his words. Because despite every law of logic the students believed in, there was no denying reality. The protagonist had just swung the massive door wide open. Ngui Tat Hoi stood there, frozen. From this moment on, I suppose that paper tiger nickname is going to stick for good. The two elites, Lai and Ngui, stood frozen with their jaws hitting the floor. Did he seriously just shove it open? The surrounding students didn't even stop to consider the protagonist's hidden power. They were convinced that ridiculous chant was a genuine spell. It worked! He actually cracked the 2-star seal with a nursery rhyme. I didn't feel a spark of class energy. Could those insults really be the key? But Li Shuangnan knew better. She suspected the one thing the others found impossible. 2-star? Has Tram already ascended to a 2-star rank? But how is that even possible without the tower? Outside, the 2-star beasts were becoming increasingly rabid and violent. There wasn't a second to lose. The students stampeded toward the entrance. When 2-star elite variants started showing up, all hope of a fair fight vanished. Elite ranks, run! Get behind the bronze gate now! The two cloaked intruders watching from the shadows had witnessed the entire spectacle. Some random kid just bypassed a 2-star lock with a bunch of insults. This is beyond bizarre. Move out. We need to get inside and secure the objective, young Master La demanded. The surviving students filed into the dark chamber behind the massive doors, moving with extreme caution, completely unaware that a nightmare far more lethal than the wolves was lying in wait. A monstrous creature, half woman and half arachnid, shivered with a sudden, sadistic delight. Humans? Oh, how wonderful. My mouth is watering just thinking about the taste. The crowd erupted in terror. A 2-star boss! It's the Spider Queen! A boss-tier entity shouldn't appear in anything less than a 3-star intermediate zone. Someone explain this. How did a low-tier trial spawn a raid boss? The Spider Queen shifted her massive, hairy limbs. Come closer, little ones. I have a very special place for you in my belly. One terrified student was snatched up by the demoness before he could blink. The poor boy was so paralyzed with fear he soiled himself, letting out a blood-curdling scream for mercy. But the shock was too much. His companions couldn't move a muscle to help. They were forced to watch in horror as the Spider Queen devoured him, her laughter echoing through the hall. Absolutely exquisite. Despair hit the students like a physical weight. We thought we found safety, but we just jumped into the furnace. We're helpless. We're all going to die in here. Hardly anyone there had the stats to outrun a standard 2-star beast, much less a boss. Li Shuangnan immediately took charge. Everyone fall back! Get back outside now! Ngui Tat Hoi shouted back, We're trapped! The 2-star horde has completely cut off the exit! With their backs against the wall, Li Shuangnan gritted her teeth. Then we have no choice. We take her down together or not at all. The Spider Queen tilted her head with mocking arrogance.
Food? Since when does the main course talk back?
With a casual flick of a leg, Shuangyan was swatted across the room like a toy. The protagonist, being the closest to the impact, rushed to help her up. Can you stand? Lai Shuangyan looked at him with hollow eyes. The power of a 2-star boss is on a different plane. We can't bridge this gap. The Spider Queen hummed to herself. The recipes say that the humans who fight back usually have the firmest, tastiest meat. Li Shuangyan screamed at the students. Scatter! Keep moving! If those claws touch you, it's over! The room dissolved into a chaotic scramble for survival. How are we supposed to dodge that? There's nowhere to go! Get out of my way! The protagonist and Shuangyan narrowly tumbled away from a series of lethal stabs from the spider limbs. The protagonist's blood began to boil. What do you think this is? A slaughterhouse? Do we look like livestock to you? You've officially pushed me too far! Drop dead! Lai Shuangyan tried to grab him. Don't be a fool. Even a 2-star user will be crushed in a head-on clash. Ignoring the warning, the protagonist lunged forward with an explosive, rage-fueled punch. Crack! The shockwave sent even to Tram skidding backward across the stone floor. The Spider Queen cackled. You really have no self-awareness as an ingredient, do you? Charging me like a hero. But her smugness flickered when she realized the human's strike had actually cracked her exoskeleton. Li Shuangyan was speechless. Unbelievable. He actually drew blood from the queen. Tram is significantly stronger than I am. The protagonist, however, was grim. That was my absolute limit, and I only managed to chip a claw. If I don't step it up, she's going to wipe everyone out. The panicked crowd, unable to see through the dust, credited the only genius they knew. The attack stopped. Someone broke her leg. It has to be Li Shuangyan. She's the only one who can stand up to that thing. The Spider Queen shrieked in fury at the stinging pain. Meat that bites back? Unacceptable! Children, feast! Leave nothing but bones! She unleashed a skittering wave of thousands of venomous spiderlings. Ngui Tathoi barked, Lai Shuangyan! We need the top 10 to form a wedge! We have to break through the gate! Lai Lang Tu groaned in defeat. It's a suicide mission. The exit is a wall of 2-star monsters. Charging out now is just asking to be shredded. Ngui Tathoi snapped. It's better than sitting here waiting for the butcher. Lai Lang Tu retorted, waiting means a few more minutes of life. Rushing means we die in seconds. The protagonist's voice cut through the bickering like a knife. Shut up, both of you. I have 2 things to settle. He turned toward Ngui Tathoi with a strangely calm expression. His request had absolutely nothing to do with the monsters currently trying to eat them. Ngui Tathoi, give me Mo Dung Lu Liam's phone number. Now! The entire room went silent as everyone stared at him like he had grown a second head. Ngui Tathoi finally exploded in frustration. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Are you out of your mind? How on earth can you focus on romance in the middle of a slaughterhouse? Meanwhile, over at the prestigious Tien Kin Elite Martial Arts Academy, Mo Dung Lu Liam stood tall, squaring off against a monstrous raid boss. She sized up the beast with a cold, bored gaze. So this is the nightmare they warn us about for the 4-star trial? The beast lunged with a roar. Lu Liam met the charge with her signature half-blade crescent slash. I have to say, I'm a bit underwhelmed by your strength. A pink-haired girl with messy pigtails hopped up and down, squealing, Yes! The 4th floor is cleared! My wifey is absolutely legendary! Lu Liam stepped out of the star tower with an air of cold elegance. The girl pouted, leaning in for a kiss. Lulu, congrats on the big rank-up! You're officially a 4-star Grand Blade Master now. Quick, give me a victory smooch! Lu Liam placed a palm on the girl's forehead to keep her at bay. Man Miu Miu, are you begging for a spanking today? Man Miu Miu grinned shamelessly. Exactly! Come on, hit me! I love it when you're rough. Lu Liam ignored the antics, her voice frosty. Not now. I have to deliver a lecture on professional combat experience to the entire student body on behalf of our mentor. She sighed inwardly, annoyed. Master is really pushing it, making me do this. I'm a warrior, not a babysitter. Man Miu Miu skipped along behind her. Wifey, don't leave me! I'm coming to watch you shine! Back at the gate, Tram barked, Hand over the phone! Now! I have a plan to get us out of here. Ngui Tat Hoi refused to entertain such a ridiculous demand. What plan involves a phone call? There's no way I'm letting a scrub like you harass my goddess. The protagonist groaned in frustration. I'm trying to save your life, you idiot. This only confused Ngui Tat Hoi further. Senior Mo Dung is hundreds of miles away at Tien Kin Academy. Even if you reach her, she can't just teleport here and slay a boss. How exactly does this save anyone? The protagonist shot back. I just opened a gate you said was impossible to budge. Stop whining and give me the damn phone. Seeing no other options left, Ngui Tat Hoi reluctantly handed it over. Fine, but if you say one creepy thing to her, I'll kill you myself. At that exact moment, Mo Dung Lu Lim was taking her seat on the stage for the massive freshman orientation. The hall was packed with worshipful admirers. Finally, a front row seat to see the great goddess lecture. She's the most beautiful woman in the academy. I'd die happy just to hold her hand. Zip it, man. She's gorgeous, but they call her the Demon Queen for a reason. One wrong move and she'll banish you to a nightmare trial dungeon. Worth it. I'd brave the abyss just for a smile. Mon Miu Miu walked out, scowling as she carried a mountain of envelopes. Lu Lim glanced at the stack. What's all that junk? Mon Miu Miu grumbled. The latest batch of love letters addressed to you. Lu Lim's eyes flashed with irritation. Same as always. Inform the student union that every sender is assigned to the alchemy realm for forced labor. No 100-point quota, no return. These boys clearly have too much free time. Don't they realize how dangerous the world outside is right now? These guys need a reality check, Miu Miu thought. Don't they know I'm the only man in Lulu's life? Suddenly, a vibration broke the tension. An incoming call from an unregistered number. Mon Miu Miu checked the screen, curious. She showed it to Lu Lim. Unknown caller. You want me to send it to voicemail? Lu Lim shook her head. Pick it up. It might be a message from the master. Miu Miu tapped the screen to answer. She then handed the device over to Lu Lim. The protagonist's voice exploded through the speaker. Mo Dung Lu Lim, it's to Tram. Listen to me very carefully. Lu Lim froze in surprise. Him? Why is he calling me now? Assuming it was the master, Mon Miu Miu had already mirrored the call to the giant theater screen for the entire audience. Now, every student in the academy was staring at Tram's face. Tram, oblivious to the audience, shouted with desperate urgency, Mo Dung Lu Lim, I love you, baby. Mon Miu Miu's jaw hit the floor. Lu Lim sat in stunned silence, her mind racing. The massive auditorium turned so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Then Ngui Tat Hoi's voice screamed in the background. Tram, you finally lost your damn mind! You're a dead man! The protagonist pushed through the embarrassment to finish the job. I love you! I love you more than life, Mo Dung! If she had a mild curiosity about him before, she was now thoroughly horrified by this Tram person. But the deed was done. It was a humiliating shortcut, but the quest to confess 100 times was officially complete. The auditorium erupted into a jealous frenzy. Who is this punk? How dare he disrespect Senior Mo Dung like that? We write letters in secret and this guy screams it over a loudspeaker? He's a dead man walking. Track his GPS, I'm going to personally break his legs. Relax, guys. There's no way a goddess like her would ever acknowledge a loser like that. Mon Miu Miu was vibrating with rage. Lulu, this guy is out of control. To do this in front of the whole school. The audacity is off the charts. We have to destroy him. Send him to the deepest level of the abyss. Mo Dung Lu Lim felt a migraine brewing. She slammed her fist onto the table, standing up with a roar. Silence! The room instantly went cold as every eye fixed back on her. Lu Lim decided to turn the tables on the protagonist. Since you're all so curious, she said smoothly, his name is Tram. The crowd began muttering. Tram? What's his rank? Which school is he from? I know every elite in the country, but I've never heard of a Tram. Lu Lim dropped a nuke on the room. He is my boyfriend. The entire hall felt like it had been hit by a collective lightning strike. Man Miu Miu looked like her soul had left her body. Boyfriend? My wifey just claimed a man? Before anyone could recover, Lu Lim turned and walked out of the hall. The Demon Queen smirked to herself. To Tram, you want to play games? Fine, let's play. If you're my official boyfriend, you'll be the shield for all these annoying suitors. My life just got a whole lot quieter. It's official. Every simp in the city now has their sights set on to Tram, the ultimate target. If I ever run into him, it's over. No random nobody deserves to be Senior Modung's partner. To Tram, I'm marking that name down. This nameless brat is in way over his head. Track him down. I want a location on him right now. Young Master Lang, the leader of the fan club, barked at his lackeys. I want a full dossier onto Tram on my desk in 10 minutes. Every detail from his birth to his breakfast. The system chimed in. Achievement unlocked. Host has successfully declared I love you 100 times to Modung Lu Lim. Reward, +1 point to physical constitution. Bonus, 10,000 donkeys awarded. The thick-skinned protagonist recoiled. Hold up, system, are you pulling my leg again? The mechanical voice repeated. Congratulations on the stat boost. You are now the owner of 10,000 donkeys. To Tram cursed the useless interface. 10,000 donkeys? What am I supposed to do with a farm? We're in a life-or-death struggle. Are you expecting me to serve donkey stew to the Spider Queen? You've got to be kidding me. The system remained indifferent, merely reciting the specs. Special notice. These 10,000 donkeys possess the unique skull-crushing kick and the ultimate demonic stampede. Warning, anything in their path will be flattened. The two intruders were also losing their cool at the escalating madness. What's the play? If this keeps up, we're going to be spider bait. One of them narrowed his eyes. I've got a backup plan. The other gasped as a dark, pulsating orb was revealed. Is that a forbidden artifact? The monster attraction relic? The one holding the orb whispered, I brought a few just in case. His partner caught on instantly. You're going to use the students as a distraction for the monsters? The rogue nodded. Exactly. It's their lives or ours. I choose ours. Fine, let's do it. Once we toss the relic, we'll slip past the Spider Queen toward the portal. That's where the item young Master Law wants is hidden. Without hesitation, they hurled the hex ball. A thick, pungent gas erupted, clouding the entire student group and marking them as primary targets. Terror gripped the crowd. What is this smell? No way! It's a monster attraction relic. Which snake did this? They're trying to serve us up on a silver platter. The surrounding monsters went into a bloodthirsty frenzy, their eyes glowing with unnatural rage. Every student felt the cold breath of death. The beasts are out of control now. It's every man for himself. There's no place left to run. Is this how our generation ends? One by one, students began to fall as the chaos intensified. Someone sobbed in despair. Just kill me quickly! I can't stand the thought of being chewed on by these things! The Spider Queen shrieked with delight. Oh, how thoughtful. Someone brought seasoning for my dinner. The scent is absolutely mouth-watering. The two traitors prepared to bolt, whispering, Now, while they're busy eating, run! They ignored the mounting pile of their classmates' bodies. Li Lang Tiu screamed in bitter resentment. Damn it! Surrounded by monsters and betrayed by humans! To Tram! You said you'd save us! Where's that big talk now? Ngui Tat Hoi, fuming with rage, added, He's a joke. Besides chanting nonsense, he's useless. He's just wasting our last seconds of life. To Tram's voice went icy. Shut up. I'm handling it. The protagonist ran the numbers. I can't just drop 10,000 donkeys into the middle of the crowd, or my rescuers will trample the students before the spiders do. Ngui Tat Hoi yelled, To Tram! What are you doing? Giving up? Going to go die? Li Lang Tu sneered. Let him go. Maybe the monster will choke on him and buy us a minute. To Tram ignored them, reciting his insult-laden spell one more time. Li Lang Tu is a total moron, and Ngui Tat Hoi is a paper tiger. Grant me your stupidity. He charged toward the sea of baby spiders, lungs bursting as he roared, Donkeys, deploy! Ngui Tat Hoi watched in disbelief, unable to find a shred of sanity in the protagonist's movements. At the edge of the abyss, why was this guy still playing the fool? Then, the impossible happened. The sky seemed to fracture, and a torrential rain of donkeys thundered down from the void, crushing the spider swarm instantly. Hoi had seen a lot since meeting to Tram, but this was a new level of bizarre. What in the world am I looking at? Every survivor stood frozen in bewilderment. What's going on? Why are there donkeys falling from the sky? Is this a joke? We have enough problems. Wait, they aren't kicking us. Even the Spider Queen was stunned. What? How dare these farm animals invade my domain? Wait, there's a whole wall of them coming this way. The ridiculous herd executed a coordinated donkey kick right to her face. The Spider Queen took the hit full on, her mind reeling with confusion. Why are these beasts turning on me? Aren't we all creatures of the wild? The donkeys didn't stop, relentlessly battering the queen. They triggered the demonic stampede skill. Meanwhile, the two traitors had managed to reach their goal. Finally, young Master Law's prize is ours. Let's get out of this hellhole. The boss is waiting by the portal. Let's move. Suddenly, a thunderous vibration shook the ground behind them. What is that noise? They looked back only to see a tidal wave of donkeys. The two rogues didn't even have time to scream. They were swept up and launched into the air by the force of the charge. As they flew, they cried out, "Where did a donkey army come from?" The herd didn't slow down, charging straight through the teleportation gate. Outside the portal, young Master Law paced impatiently. What's taking them? With their skills, they should have been back ages ago. I've sacrificed too much for this. If I don't get that item, his subordinate pointed a finger. Young Master, the portal is active. Someone's coming through. Law's face lit up with greed. Perfect. This is my ticket to the sacred domain. Everything is falling into place. But he didn't see his elite mercenaries stepping out. Instead, he was met by a stampede of donkeys that defied all logic.